You walk into a hospital. You tell the staff one single lie. You say you hear a voice in your head saying the word, thud. That's it. That's the whole lie. Nothing else about you is fake. Your name is real. Your job is real. Your life story is real. And within minutes, that one sentence gets you admitted. Now here's the part that should scare you. Once you're inside, you stop lying completely. You act completely normal. You tell the staff the voice is gone. You behave exactly like yourself. And it doesn't matter, because you're not walking back out for 19 days. This actually happened, 8 different times. And the man behind it wanted to answer one question. Once someone labels you insane, is there anything you can do to prove you're not? In 1973, a psychologist named David Rosenhan sent 8 healthy people into psychiatric hospitals across 5 different states. None of them had any mental illness. None of them had ever been treated for one. They were a graduate student, a painter, a housewife, 3 psychologists, a pediatrician, and a psychiatrist. Rosenhan wanted to know what would happen to a completely sane person the moment a hospital decided they weren't. Each of them showed up and said the exact same thing, a voice unclear saying thud, that single symptom and nothing more, and every single one of them was admitted. 7 were diagnosed with schizophrenia. 1 with bipolar disorder. Here's where it gets strange. The moment they walked through the doors, they stopped pretending completely. No more fake symptoms. No more lying. They acted exactly like themselves, talked normally, ate normally, followed the rules. And they told the staff the voice was gone. It didn't matter. Because the label had already been applied. And once a label like that exists, everything you do afterward gets reinterpreted to match it. Think about that for a second. Have you ever had someone form one opinion of you early on? And no matter what you did after that, they kept seeing you through that first impression. That's what happened to these 8 people. Except the stakes weren't a friendship. The stakes were their freedom. One of the pseudopatients kept a personal journal, writing down his observations of the ward. A nurse noted this behavior in his file, not as him staying occupied, not as him processing his experience. She wrote it down as patient engages in writing behavior. His own handwriting became a symptom. Another one paced the hallway because he was bored, the way anyone would pace a hallway they'd been stuck in for days. Staff logged it as anxious pacing consistent with his diagnosis. Every normal human behavior got quietly filed under illness, because the diagnosis came first, and everything after it got bent to fit. This is the part that should really unsettle you. It wasn't the doctors who figured out something was wrong. It was the other patients, real patients, actual psychiatric patients on the same ward, looked at these fake ones and said, "You're not crazy, you're a journalist, you're checking up on the hospital." Real patients spotted the fakes in days. The trained professionals never did, not once, across all 8 cases. So who actually got it right? The people the system had already dismissed as unreliable were the only ones paying close enough attention to see the truth. Eventually, all 8 were released. Not because the hospitals realized they'd made a mistake. Every discharge paper read the same phrase. Schizophrenia, in remission. Not never had it. Not healthy. In remission. As if the illness that never existed had simply gone quiet for now, waiting to come back. The label didn't disappear. It just changed shape enough to let them leave. The average stay was 19 days. One of them was locked inside for 52. When Rosenhan published these results, psychiatric institutions were furious. So one hospital issued a challenge. "Send us more fake patients," they said, "over the next 3 months, and we guarantee we'll catch every single one this time." Rosenhan agreed. Over the following months, the hospital staff flagged 41 incoming patients as likely fakes. Confident, thorough, certain they'd caught the imposters. Rosenhan hadn't sent anyone. Not a single person. People the hospital was so sure were lying were just real patients, seeking real help, who got accused of faking their own suffering, because the staff was so eager to prove they couldn't be fooled again. Read that twice. Because it's the actual point of the whole study. It was never really about whether doctors could catch a liar. It was about how fragile the line is between sanity and insanity once someone in power decides which side of that line you're on. A label isn't just a word. It's a lens. Once it's placed over you, every single thing you do gets viewed through it, whether it fits or not. And here's the honest part. This isn't just a hospital problem. Think about the last time someone decided who you were before they actually knew you. A first impression, a rumor, a single mistake early on. Did you notice how hard it became to be seen as anything else after that? That's the Rosenhan effect playing out in ordinary life, just without the padded walls. So the next time you catch yourself deciding who someone is within the first 5 minutes of meeting them, remember the 8 people who walked into a hospital healthy, told one small lie, and then spent weeks being unable to prove the truth. Because once the label was on, nothing they did afterward could take it off. Does that change how quickly you judge someone? Tell me in the comments. And if this made you think twice about the last snap judgment you made, subscribe. We're just getting started.